Some water. Hello, hello. How you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm good.
That's good.
Back for yet another emergency Senate meeting.
What's the emergency now? There's always one.
Parking and Alyssa resigning.
I didn't know we had a replacement up for that.
We don't have a replacement yet, but there's no process in the code for how they replace someone who isn't the treasurer, VP, or secretary, I think. The main emergency, though, was hardship parking because transportation and parking they told hardship that they wanted all of the hardship parking lots available given out to the applicants before the start of the school year. And so they essentially have the next few weeks before we move back to deal with that entire process. And so we need to make some changes to the joint code to allow them to change the way they do appeals, add extra provisional members to the committee, a couple more things I forget. But yeah.
So emergency, it sounds like. Getting things done.
2020 is just full of them, isn't it?
For sure.
How's the treasurer job going?
Pretty boring.
Yeah?
Yep.
You haven't had much to do with the university finances and stuff yet?
We've had our regular meetings with Jonathan Pruitt, but that's about it. The biggest thing, of course, has been the state of emergency being renewed every month. But
Right. I remember Carter last year was talking about him and Ashton working on a plan, or maybe it wasn't Ashton, but they were working on a plan to for the whole deferred maintenance cost that we have. Have you been looking into that at all?
Could you say that again? My audio cut out.
Very good. I remember Carter last year was talking to me about some plan that he was trying to work on as treasurer for to address our deferred maintenance costs.
Yeah, there hasn't been anything to my knowledge that's come through about that yet.
Gotcha. Okay. Hello, everyone. We're going to try to start as close to 6 as possible because the commission is meeting at 6:30-ish, and we want to be able to get out by then. So yeah. I was going to play music today, but I figured I didn't want to take up too much more time than I had to, so. The entrance music shall begin in the fall.
Are the updates at the beginning of the meeting going to take as long as they usually do?
No, I'm telling everyone to keep them concise.
Okay.
So.
Okay, because I was I feel like a lot of times that's why meetings are so long sometimes, and that might help it go quicker.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just going to start the moment we have quorum. We have 6 right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. I think that's Senator Armstead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, just need one more. Perfect. How's everyone doing? Nice, nice.
Great.
Yeah, pretty good.
Good.
Actually, I like your shirt. You get that at Kennedy Space Center in Florida, or just like from some random store?
Oh, haha, no, just a random store at the mall.
Oh,
I've
nice.
never been to Kennedy Space Center,
You should
unfortunately.
go. You should go. It's pretty awesome.
I will plan a trip to Florida in about a year, probably.
Yeah, right now is probably not.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it right now.
That's just my personal opinion, though. I don't know. Maybe the CDC is wrong. Who knows?
I would like swerve off the entire state of Florida for like the next 6 months. So
I'm pretty sure as of right now, it's the
Yeah.
epicenter of the disease in the
Yeah,
U.S. But I
like,
could be mistaken about that.
yeah,
Yeah, they
No.
exceeded the highs in New York as far as case count.
we don't allow
Pretty
people
insane.
up here anymore. It's kind of nice without all these stupid tourists.
Yeah, I bet. Sounds good. All right, so it's 6. I'm gonna go ahead and start as people are trickling in. Or actually, we still have senators coming in, so I'll wait like 1 or 2 minutes. We're trying to make it a little bit faster today. Yeah, I know I said that we wouldn't meet this month, but haha, emergencies happen. And so we're meeting again today. Apologies, y'all. 2020 is just chock full of emergencies. Nothing we can do about it. This is the way it is. I appreciate you all for coming today, though. All right, we'll start at like 6:02, 6:03. Still waiting a couple from Zach.
I just ask, have we decided what the format will be for what meetings will look like come fall?
Yeah, so I'm gonna touch on that briefly today. But that is, if you saw the form I sent out in the email and on Slack, that's part of why we sent that form out, to see what everyone's availability is, in terms of like in-person availability, like Wi-Fi access, stuff like that. Spoiler alert, though, it'll most likely be remote. So if anyone didn't see that coming.
I'm so sick of remote.
Yeah, I am too. It's just the safest option, though. It's the most accessible one too. But we'll see based on like what all the responses are at that form. John, is that you on the phone? Can't tell. I think it is. Let me check. Yeah, okay, I think it is. Okay. All right, we'll start at 6:03. All right, there we go. All right, welcome back, everyone. Special emergency Senate meeting called because we have some issues with hardship parking and because we had a recent resignation from executive branch. So we're gonna deal with those 2 things today. I'm gonna call this meeting to order at 6:03 p.m. and I will now call the roll. Chair Barrett.
Here.
Sounds good. Chair Benzea is not here. Senator El Hadidi.
Here.
Fantastic, I'm here. Pro Temp Logan.
Present.
Beautiful. Vice Chair Long.
Present.
Thank you. Vice Chair McFerrin.
Present.
Dope. Senator Murphy.
Present.
Nice. Senator Olmsted. I think that's him on the phone. Can't hear him though. He's absent. Talking with him later. Senator Parkhurst.
Here.
Sweet. Chair Powell is not here. Senator Reich.
Present.
Vice Chair Richards. It's not currently here. Should be here soon though. Oh, there's Bobby. Shit. Okay, there we go. Senator Sarsour is not here. Okay. He said he'd be late. Senator Shett.
Here.
Nope. Chair Shukla.
Here.
Nice. Member at Large Smith.
Here.
And Senator Twarnight.
Here.
Fantastic. 13 people. Nice, nice. All right, we're going to get started. I'm going to ask everyone to keep their reports and petitions and whatnot short, to the point, because we got to get through this. Reeves is not here today, so I think he gave either Pre or Steven his report. Do one of y'all have his report?
Yep, I have a summary. I'm just going to read it.
Go ahead.
So Reeves said, "Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Apologies for not being able to make it tonight. I was in our Board of Trustees meeting all day and just received a research project for my campaign internship that is due tomorrow, so I'm scrambling to finish it this evening. Just a quick update. Today we voted 12-1 to approve the guidelines on beginning to rename campus buildings, which will be put on the UNC website in the next couple of days. I anticipate a special Board of Trustees meeting in the next couple of weeks to rename some buildings, which needs to continue to happen soon. Hope you are all doing well."
Perfect. Anybody have any questions for Pre?
About Reeves's updates.
About Reeves' updates, yeah. All right, seeing none, we're going to move on. Pre, what are your updates?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, so first of all, I want to thank you for making this emergency Senate meeting. One of the bills that we're going to be voting on has to do with some of the hardship parking changes that we need to make in light of changes to transportation and parking policies for this upcoming semester. So really excited to jump into that discussion. Other big updates, we met with the student advisory committee to the chancellor last week, conveying some of the questions that had been compiled from the last provost meeting, which have been now given to the implementation committee for the roadmap, and hopefully we will get some answers on that, as well as the implementation committee taking into account those concerns. I think the last cycle of external appointments is going to be starting in the next week to 2 weeks, so excited to see who else we will end up recruiting onto all the different external appointments. I think that's pretty much it from me, though.
Sounds good. Any questions for Pre? Again, I'm going to be using the raise hand feature on the right. All right, seeing none, moving on to Steven. Any reports for us? Any comments?
Yeah, just real brief. We're going to be restarting our weekly to bi-weekly meetings with Vice Chancellor of Finance and Operations Pruitt over the next few weeks. I think we're looking at July 25th to 30th for our first meeting back with him after a period of time off. Reeves, Ryan, Jacob, and I will be meeting in the next few days to discuss the state of emergency that student government is still technically in, and whether we should begin to phase that out as we move into the new normal of the fall, or how we can rework it to continue the state of emergency if it is found necessary. Other than that, I think we're also moving forward on some budgetary asks and all for the executive branch as we move towards the fall, adjusting for the lack of in-person events that is likely going to be the case, as well as potential other and alternative programming that we can look at in the fall. So things are moving on the finance end, but it's still kind of slow. One more thing, we are going to be looking at SFAC, the Student Fee Audit Committee, and starting that up within the next few weeks. And Jacob and I will be getting more to that on the members of SFAC soon.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Steven? All right, seeing none. The AG is not here, Honor Corps Chair is not here. Bobby, do you have anything to let us know about?
No, thank you.
Sounds good. We have no papers, so I'm going to move on to the reports of the officers. Drew is not here, so we're going to move on down. Oh, Elena's also not here today. Baxter, do you have a report for us?
I don't have anything specific to R&J, and I'm sure Keisha will cover anything that leadership as a whole is doing. But I do want to say that as we move into the fall semester, senators, please reach out to me if you have any questions about writing bills or addressing anything as a Senate, I'm happy to work with you and looking forward to a productive semester as a Senate.
Yep, Baxter is a great resource for that, guys. So if you ever need any help, let me know. Anybody else in leadership can also help you with that stuff too. All right, moving on to Ashna. You got a report for us?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I hope you're staying safe and well. I just wanted to update a little bit. We're aiming to have the treasurer's test out by August 1st as a hard and fast deadline. And once it's out, all senators will have to take it so that we can vote on funding bills later on. The funding process will then start pretty soon after that, since classes start earlier this year. Other than that, I don't really have anything else. Just want to repeat what Baxter said. Don't be afraid to come to me with questions, honestly. Would love to help you guys out.
Awesome, sounds good. Moving on to Maya, you have a report for us?
Yes, hey everyone, I hope everyone's doing well. Just first off, this week we started out with a brief meeting well, this is not connected to my role as Speaker Pro Tempore, but did for leadership, we met with the Chancellor in regards to including equity and, serving as the best resource for marginalized communities in regards to the Carolina Roadmap. So a few senators were present at that meeting, and it was very informative and a very needed discussion. And after this meeting, I actually will be jumping off a little bit early because we have a commission meeting, the newly formed commission. So we'll be meeting tonight in regards to just how we're doing right now with a fall semester coming up, planning to see how we can best serve the communities that are going to be impacted the most by not returning to campus. So that's pretty much what I've been doing on my end. I'm really meeting with people and finding out what I can be a resource to. So I'm here if you need me, or if you just want to have a conversation about fall or anything, just let me know.
Beautiful, thanks Maya. Any questions for Maya? All right, seeing none, I'm going to move on to my report. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Senate. I'm going to keep this as short as I can. So the reason we're meeting today is because we have a couple bills on the calendar. The first is for hardship parking. We're going to explain more once we get to that bill about why we're meeting about it. That was the first situation. The second situation is Alyssa Floyd, the State External Affairs Director, recently resigned from her position. And so the code is not, doesn't really give us a process for how to nominate a new person to that position. So we had to outline that process really quick. So those are the two things that we'll be hearing today. I want to welcome our new staff members. We closed the applications on June 26th and then accepted them all a couple weeks ago. And so Alex and Julie will be our two new PR managers. I think Julie's on the call. Yeah, there she is. I don't think Alex is on the call here today though. Emma's gonna be our new parliamentarian. Jordan is gonna be our new D&I coordinator. And Yasharth, Tyler, and Suyan, Yasharth and Suyan couldn't make it today, but they will be our legislative assistants. Or three of our legislative assistants. Yasharth will be my assistant, Tyler will be for O&A, and Suyan will be for finance. So we're gonna reopen the application in the fall, in August, to get LAs for Maya, RNJ, and ethics, as well as just extra LAs to beef up each team so that we have more resources at our availability, and to fill in the webmaster/clerk positions if possible. If we can't fill in those positions, we'll probably just work with the LAs to help get that job covered without needing a specific position for it. But welcome everyone. I hope you find it as fulfilling as we all do. I'm looking forward to the semester. And congratulations, by the way. Next up, on the topic of new staff and people, Reeves and I are going to schedule a special election in August. Date to come soon on that. We're still reaching out to the DOE and stuff. So please tell your friends to run or to apply to staff if they're interested in Senate work. We're also working on those explainer videos that I promised earlier in the summer, on certain topics that you all might be confused about or want to know more about. Leadership has signed up for certain topics that we all want to make videos on, and we'll be releasing those to the Senate YouTube playlist as soon as we can. So just very tight on those. If you do have topics that you'd like to see explained, I'll make a thread in the Slack channel, the general channel, and you all can reply to that message with topics that you'd like to see explained. We'll make videos on them for you. Our retreat will be happening on July 31st. I'll release the time as soon as I can. I was waiting on Senior Advisor DJ to get back to us so that he can administer the training, but his work schedule hasn't been finalized yet. And so it'll either be he administers it for us or he pre-records it and leadership will give the training that he records for us, and we'll send him any questions that you all have after the fact. So the first half of it will be like games and icebreakers and stuff, and the second half will be the training. Next up, please fill out that form that I sent out in the email and the Slack. We need to get the information on like everyone's availability for the fall, so that we can plan the days and times of our meetings, as well as whether or not they'll be in person or remote or a hybrid option. It's looking most likely to be remote as of right now, just because this is the most accessible option, it's the safest. But in the event that we are able to find rooms that are big enough, we might explore with the proper guidelines and everything, having like hybrid meetings on campus for certain committees. There's also a when to meet in that form, so make sure you fill that one out too. Yeah, that's all that I have. We are going to now hop into, or let me go back to the agenda. Yeah, is anyone here for public comment? All right, seeing no one, we're now gonna hop into the first bill. And so this is the bill on hardship parking. Give me 1 second, let me share my screen. All right. I'm going to motion to allow pre-speaking privileges so that she can present this bill for me, because she knows more about the process. If you all could give me a red check marker, or a green check marker, a red X, if you'd like to pass the motion or not. Let me check here. Just this. Here we go. All right, yeah, this is the majority. All right, Free, take it away.
Hi, everyone. So this is a bill that me, Keshav, Kat, who I think is also on this call, and Michelle have been working on to make some changes to how hardship parking currently works, and also add some emergency provisions in light of the recent legislation changes that have gone on from transportation and parking. I'll give you a little background on what some of those changes look like. So traditionally, transportation and parking provides year-long permits for parking. Because of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, they've moved to semester permits, which kind of changes how hardship operates traditionally. So usually hardship has to hold on to a certain number of spots in the fall for the spring period, but we've been directed to actually give out all spots if we're able to, which will end up limiting our ability to hear appeals as a result of that. So that's part of what we're going to be discussing here. Also, because of the unique hardships that have arisen as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, we've had discussions with transportation and parking, and they're expecting a significant increase in the number of applications that we're going to be expected to read in a much shorter period of time. So they've estimated we usually get about 500 applications in the fall. They're expecting upwards of 1,000 this time. This is also in light of us only having 1 week to read hardship parking applications when we usually have 2 weeks. And those 2 weeks are actually usually once we come back to school and school starts. This year, we made a special effort to make sure that all students who are applying for hardship get their permits by August 1st so that they can have parking by the time they come back to campus. So kind of given all these factors, we've created a number of changes that I can walk through right now. Keshav, would you mind scrolling through to the top of the document? Yeah, so the first change we're making is to Article 2, Section 520. This first part, we were just removing the parts of this that referred to the members being determined by the executive and legislative branches, because joint code is the one that decides the membership of the hardship parking committee. And because of changes to the external appointment code that we made a few months ago, C doesn't apply anymore. Again, that's up to the Joint Governance Council. Article 3, Section 532, Powers of the Hardship Parking Committee Leadership. This is just to allow hardship parking to make changes when the Department of Parking and Transportation makes changes to the timeline. And it also allows both the graduate students and the undergraduate students to appoint an additional 2 members, bringing up the total committee size to about 12 people instead of having 8, which is going to be a significant help if we are going to be getting the number of applications we're expecting that week. And then the last part has to do with something called medical non-mobility. Medical non-mobility is through the ARS office, and it is a service in which if you have a medical issue that does not impact your mobility, for example, you need to attend doctor's appointments, or you might be immunocompromised in the case of COVID and you need a parking spot to limit your exposure to others. All of those are examples of medical non-mobility. The issue here, though, is that in the joint code right now, it says that medical non-mobility is something that hardship parking takes care of, but historically, hardship parking doesn't actually do medical non-mobility. That's given to ARS and ADA because we're not supposed to be seeing things that we're not supposed to be really reviewing medical information. We're not necessarily qualified to be reviewing medical information. So we're striking that out of the joint code, and through this bill, we're taking it out just to make sure that the processes are aligned with what is currently in the code. And then the last part of this is just talking about the first year undergraduate student policy. So again, because of COVID-19, a significant number of first years have been given waivers by Carolina Housing to commute to campus and live off campus. Historically, first years can actually get hardship parking application or hardship parking spots, qualify to apply to hardship parking if they've been given that first year housing contract waiver. So we just wanted to clarify what sort of documentation a first year needs in order to apply for hardship parking, and once again to remove the medical non-mobility component for the first year undergraduates, because we don't see that. So that's sort of all of the changes we're making. I'm more than happy to discuss any of these changes. And Keshav, I also know we wanted to talk sort of potentially through how the grading of hardship parking works, correct?
That'll be later. That's not on this bill.
That's not on this bill, but that's a future conversation we can have.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Pri. Are there any questions for Pri? Use a raise hand feature. I'll also consider any motions on this bill. A motion for discussion and a motion for the previous question, whichever one it may be.
If nobody has any questions, I motion to the previous question.
All right, there's been a motion for the previous question. Are there any objections before we move into voting procedure? If there are, just use the red X feature on the right. Would anyone like to continue the question for your move into discussion instead? All right, seeing no objections, we are now in voting procedure. So if everyone could vote on this bill in the usual manner by using either a green check mark or a red X, that would be fantastic. All right. Give me 1 second while I record the votes. All right. With a unanimous vote, that bill passes. Oh, Sally left the meeting. No, she's back. Let me wait for her to connect to audio. Sally, how would you like to vote on this bill? Would you mind popping it in the participants section on the right? All right, there we go.
Sorry, I got kicked out for a second.
You're good, no worries. All right, well, I want to tally it for me. Okay, that bill passes, beautiful. Now moving on to USB 10224. a bill to formalize the nomination process for vacant EBO positions. Ashna, you mind walking us through this one?
Yeah, no problem. So basically, since the SEA director resigned, I have been talking to Danny Bowen, the chief of staff, and essentially the section 210 in the code outlines some positions and what to do in case of vacancies, but it doesn't outline for every EBO position. So we went in and kind of just added those positions on how to like determine how long the SBP has to nominate and establishing a nominating process for all EBO positions in general. And then we also went in and added the 2/3 majority vote of undergraduate senate for actually approving those nominations. Other than that, it's not really anything new.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Ashna or myself? Go ahead and use the raise hand feature on the right. Yeah, Baxter?
I move to end question and answer.
All right, there's been a motion to move to end questioning and answering period. Is there any objection? So ending this Q&A period is going to move us into voting procedure.
To discussion.
To discussion, sorry. Is there any objection to that motion? All right, seeing none, we're now in discussion. Would anyone like to speak about the bill? Or does anyone have any questions about the bill? Yeah, is there a motion to extend free speaking privileges?
A motion to extend speaking privileges to Pri.
All right, can everyone vote yes or no and decide to extend free speaking privileges? All right, beautiful. Pri, go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a clarifying question. So I understand that this bill is saying that the undergraduate president nominates the replacement. I know, Ashna, that there had been some discussions about there potentially being a committee, sort of how EBO positions are originally chosen. Is that something that the undergraduate president still has the ability to kind of bring together a standing committee to nominate a replacement, or kind of how much does it limit the president's ability to do that if that is something that is considered?
So just going by the wording of the code and like just adding these positions now, it just outlines that the SBP nominates. Baxter can like correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's any specific process on like how he has to nominate or like his own kind of checklist on how he does it.
Yeah, back down to the side. That's the way I interpret it as well.
Yeah, it kind of leaves it open to Reeves for him to do it however he sees fit. Danny did mention that he was like thinking about a selection committee. I believe that's what you mentioned as well. But it's been in the code that it's really just, the SBP nominates, and that's kind of an open wording in itself, and we don't want to be too like specific about it.
No, absolutely. I appreciate you clarifying that, because I just wanted to make sure that I understood what the limitations are, but it sounds like that's open to the president to decide. So thank you for answering that question.
Hector, go ahead.
Yeah, we just wanted to bring this in line with the rest of the positions, like the VP or the secretary or the treasurer, so that there was the same process for these other EBO positions. And I agree with Asha's interpretation about a committee.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Asha, real quick, I'm going to make a motion to amend this to add an enacting clause. And the clause I want to add is, I know Danny had some concerns about being given a month to nominate a new appointee. And so I want to amend this to add a clause that says that they have a month upon passage of this bill. Is that friendly or unfriendly?
I deem it friendly.
Sounds good. Let me put in the proper formatting. Nominate. How's that wording? I think I'll take that out. Okay. Next Joshua, does that wording look good?
Looks good to me.
Sounds good. Okay. Are there any other questions or comments that people would like to make? If not, I'll also entertain motions. Yeah, actually, go ahead.
I move to the previous question.
All right, there's been a motion for the previous question. Are there any objections? All right, seeing no objections, we're now in voting procedure. If everyone could please vote on the right-hand side using the features provided by Zoom so kindly. Let me record all these votes. Sorry. Mile left, right? Yeah. Okay. As well. All right. So that bill also passes with a vote of 11-0. All right, sounds good. So both those bills have passed, and that is the last item we have on the agenda. Last notices and announcements. Please make sure that you fill out the form that was sent out in the email and put in the Slack. There's a one to me that also goes along with that form. Both of those will be due by tomorrow at noon, so that we have all the pertinent data. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. And if anyone wants to, I'm personally planning on holding a little Zoom call tomorrow, like an informal get together for senators and stuff. And so if y'all are down to meet and just chill over a dinner or lunch or a coffee or something, I'll drop it in the random Slack. So yeah, sounds good. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, I forgot to call seconds this meeting. Oops. I'm gonna do this by just because it's fast. Actually, no. Everyone drop in the participants a yes or a no on the motion to adjourn. Jack, you don't want to adjourn?
Wrong button.
Oh, gotcha. All right. With a vote of 11-0, we are now adjourned. Thank you all, and have a good evening. Ring.